Let's try a quick experiment. Right now, I want you to think of a completely random animal in the world. Ready? Stop. Got one? Now ask yourself, why didn't you think of an elephant or a rabbit? Out of the millions of species you know, why did your mind settle on that exact choice? It feels like you made a free, conscious choice. But if you pay close attention to your own mind, you couldn't actually predict what thought would appear in your head until it was already there. This simple observation is the starting point for author and neuroscientist Sam Harris. He argues that free will is a complete illusion. Our conscious mind doesn't author our thoughts, it simply witnesses them after they emerge from the dark. If we aren't the true authors of our own thoughts and intentions, it raises some difficult questions. How can we take pride in our personal successes? And how can we justify punishing criminals for their actions? To answer that, we have to look at objective data on how the brain processes decisions, long before we even realize we're making them. Looking at these MRI scans, researchers spot where an unconscious decision occurs 10 seconds before the subject consciously makes it. This neural activity represents a web of background causes: genetics, sleep, and conditioning. Your conscious mind controls exactly none of this. The actual intention to press a button, or to commit a crime, is just another thought. It appears in your consciousness exactly like that random animal did a minute ago. It leaves us with a strange reality. You can certainly do what you want, but you cannot consciously decide what you will decide to want. Not everyone agrees with this. Philosophers like Daniel Dennett advocate for a position called compatibilism. They argue that even if your thoughts are generated by unconscious processes, that unconscious brain is still biologically you, meaning you are still acting freely. But mapping moral responsibility onto our biology gets complicated. 90% of your body's cells are microbes performing vital functions. They are biologically part of you, but we don't feel identical to them and we don't hold them morally responsible. Realizing we lack free will doesn't mean we should sit around waiting for things to happen. Sitting back is still a physical choice, and your actions will still dictate your reality. Even willpower and effort are physical, biological phenomena. Making a disciplined effort to change your life is a real causal force, but your capacity to exert that effort today is a biological inheritance. You either have the neurochemistry for it in this moment, or you don't. Our choices matter, and they actively shape the world. But we have to accept that our ability to make those choices depends entirely on the luck of our biological and environmental draw. If we accept that people are effectively biological puppets, where does that lead our system of law? How can we hold criminals morally responsible for their actions? Imagine a 25-year-old psychopath who commits a terrible murder. Now imagine that an MRI reveals a golf ball-sized tumor pressing on his medial prefrontal cortex, the specific region of the brain that controls emotional impulses. Discovering that physical tumor alters our moral calculus. We stop viewing the killer as a mastermind and see a victim of biology. The desire for vengeance evaporates. Every violent criminal acts on an invisible tumor, strictly driven by bad genes, abuse, and trauma. If you traded places with a psychopath, atom for atom, inheriting his exact genes, his exact brain state, and his exact life experiences, you would act exactly as he does. Criminals are simply profoundly unlucky. This doesn't mean we empty the prisons. We still need to incarcerate dangerous people to protect society and deter future crimes. We just need to do it without the medieval urge for retribution. On a personal level, letting go of free will strips away our arrogant sense of entitlement. When you realize you didn't author your own neurochemistry, it becomes clear that all personal success is ultimately a product of good luck. Losing that ego forces us to replace hatred and judgment with deep, rational compassion. It becomes incredibly difficult to hold grudges when you see everyone as a product of forces they didn't choose. This biological view of the mind doesn't turn us into cold, mechanical robots. It actually connects us more deeply to the natural world, revealing that we are an active, integrated part of nature. You are not an independent author controlling the storm of your mind, and you aren't a victim lost inside it. You simply are the storm.